Madam President, I want to first say thank you to my colleagues, Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senator Capito, Senator Portman, Jones, Kane, Duckworth, Brown, Casey, Durbin, Warner, Sinema, and Van Hollen and Reed, who have co-sponsored this legislation with me and for standing with me to protect coal miners' pensions and health care, and specifically Senator Capito will be joining me here on the floor today. Yesterday also marked the 51st anniversary of the Farmington No. 9 disaster, where 78 coal miners lost their lives in the Consolidation Coal Company's No. 9 mine in Farmington, West Virginia, which is my hometown. I lost my Uncle John Gus in that mine explosion. I lost my neighbor, John Sopach. I lost several of my classmates in this tragedy that rocked my hometown, and it seemed like only yesterday. I've always said that one life lost while on the job is one too many, and it shouldn't happen. This tragedy shows the risk that our coal miners take every day to provide our country with the energy that we need, which is why I'm here today. When coal companies go bankrupt, coal miners' benefits are at the bottom of the priority list, which is how we've ended up in this situation today, and that is unacceptable. Should be unacceptable to all of us. The person who earns the wage should be on the front end of the line when the bankruptcy happens, and whatever's left, they're taken care of first. Time is running out for our coal miners. We need a fix now, not in a few weeks and not in 2020, but now. Year after year, our coal miners risk their lives to bring America the energy needed to become the world leader that we are today. Our coal miners made a commitment to our country, and now it's our turn to uphold the commitment we made to them in 1946 by securing their hard-earned pensions and health care. Let me tell you what the coal that we've had in our country and has been mined by our hardworking coal miners since the beginning of the 20th century. That coal basically has fueled every war that we've been in, helped us win every war, helped propel us to the industrial might that we are today. It built our factories. It's done everything for us. And all we're doing now is trying to make sure that the people that sacrificed all these years are taken care of. We have 1,000 coal miners who will lose their health care coverage on December 31st of this year, a little over a month from now. We also have 12,000 more coal miners who will lose their health care in March of next year, and that's only 4 months away. This is an issue that must be dealt with immediately, and time is running out. If you're one of those 1,000 coal miners and one of your family members depending on their health care, probably life-supporting health care, and they're thinking they're going to lose at the end of this month, it's unconscionable for us to walk out of here and not get this piece of legislation done. With it being so bipartisan, having the majority leader from Kentucky, representing the coal miners of Kentucky, this is something that needs to be done immediately, and I know that we can. But if we don't pass this legislation to protect our miners, the UMWA pension fund will be insolvent by this time next year. With the largest privately owned coal company, Murray Energy, filing for bankruptcy 2 weeks ago, the timeline for the UMWA pension fund moved up 2 years. It accelerated a basically exasperating position that we were in to begin with. And Murray Energy, they've contributed over 97% of the money going into the UMWA pension fund annually because of the size of their company, which is why its bankruptcy is accelerated to the situation we're in today with the pension fund insolvency. Once the UMWA pension fund would become insolvent if we don't do something, this crisis will snowball and impact every other multi-employer pension fund in America. They will all start tumbling, along with the PBGC, which is the federally funded pension guarantee. That is why it's essential that we protect our coal miners' pension now, not next year or year after that, which is why my colleagues and I introduced the Bipartisan American Miners Act. The Bipartisan American Miners Act would amend the current Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act of 1977 to transfer funds in excess of the amounts needed to meet existing obligations under the Abandoned Mine Land Fund to the 1974 pension plan to prevent its looming insolvency. It also raises the cap on these funds from $490 million to $750 million to ensure that there is sufficient funding for these pension funds. It also guarantees a lifetime health care for the 13,000 individuals, including the 1,000 scheduled to lose their health care on December 31st of this year, by amending the Coal Act to include 2018 and 2019 bankruptcies in the miners' health care fix that passed in 2017. The funding for coal miners' pension is already there. It just needs to be reallocated. These actions will secure the pensions of 92,000 coal miners and their families and protect health care benefits for 13,000 miners. That is our goal, and I am proud to be here fighting for these miners today because they surely have fought for me and given me the great country that I live in today. These miners took home less pay every day from their paycheck with the expectations that they would be able to retire and provide for their families after working for decades for our country. They have paid what they're trying to receive. It's not something they're asking for a handout. They're not asking for a government handout or a taxpayer handout. They're just wanting the money that they've invested and paid into all these years. It's money they didn't take home. Workers expect the wages they have contributed to be there when they retire, as they were promised. If we pass the Bipartisan American Miners Act as an amendment to the continuing resolution, we would protect coal miners' pensions and health care now before it's too late. The Bipartisan American Miners Act is ready to be voted on, and has the support from both sides of the aisle, as I just read off a list of our sponsors. The Bipartisan American Act is basically a piece of legislation that needs to be done immediately. And if we don't pass it now, 1,000 miners, as I said before, will lose their health care on December 31st. Health care benefits will be terminated, as we've talked about, and then by as early as September 2020, the pension benefits of 82,000 current pensioners and 10,000 future pensioners could be drastically reduced because of the plan's insolvency. I want to remind you also that the average pension of a coal miner is less than $600 a month. Most of these are widows. Their husbands have passed on, and they're living on this as a subsistence, basically, for their income. It would be tremendously harmful for them not to be able to receive this. I believe that we can and will pass this legislation before it is too late for these miners as an amendment to the CR. That's all we're asking for. It must be done before and no later than December the 20th. And I'm trying to get this on now so that we can move forward. Can you imagine being one of the 1,000 coal miners, maybe having one of your loved ones, your wife, or one of your children who has a serious illness that needs attention, and knowing they're not going to be able to get attention or get basically any health care after December 31st. So put yourself in their shoes. These are the families that deserve the peace of mind knowing that their pensions are going to be paid and their paycheck that they did not take the money home is going to be secured. We can give them peace of mind today, and I look forward to passing this legislation with all of my colleagues in a bipartisan. This is the first time we've had something of this magnitude being done in a bipartisan way. And the good Lord knows we need more bipartisan efforts to work with people. And if we all don't stand for the working men and women who made America, what's our purpose of being here and who do we stand for? So I'm asking all of you, please, with the urgency that's needed, please take up this piece of legislation. Please take up this amendment to the CR, and let's take care of the people that help make America great as we are today, the coal miners of the United Mine Workers of America. Thank you, Mr. President. And I see the absence of a quorum.